Shalom and welcome to 2 Minutes of Torah. This year is entitled Parshat Bo, being a micro and a macro Jew, Part 1. The Pesukim state that Moshe warned Pharoh about Arba, and then he left Pharoh. The question is, Hashem asks, he always left Pharoh after he warned Pharoh of the plague, and why over here is it stressed in the pasuk? So some say it's a simple answer. And a few Pesukim later, Pharoh and his advisors call Moshe back in. So it used to tell us that he left and that he was called back in. The Midrash Rabbi says the following on the pasuk, that he saw that they were discussing, Pharoh and his advisors were discussing the upcoming plague and the previous plagues, and he thought that they were actually slowly being won over, and therefore he went out. Rabbi understands this to mean that Moshe thought it would be best to let them do Teshuva by discussing it on their own without his presence, and therefore he slowly slipped away while they're in a moment of Hirhor Teshuva, and who knows, maybe they'd really come around and become true monotheists and do Teshuva. Rav says there's one problem. The fact is, the Pesukim in the beginning of the Parsha state that God said that Pharoh will not listen to you because I want to do so many miracles, and that will increase the level of spirituality of the Jewish people. Well, they become greater believers in monotheism and have more of a connection to it. And therefore, there's a purpose in Pharaoh's stubbornness and being hardened with a hardened heart, and that's the plan. And now Moshe goes ahead and he's going to try to makarev Pharoh. What's going to happen with the divine plan that's going to help out the Jewish nation? So Rav Henoch says that Moshe is not violating God's command. God told him to go and warn about Abba. That's what he did. Where does the general divine plan fit in? When exactly will Pharoh harden his heart? At one point, that's God will of course have that under. He has it under control. Moshe right now is focusing on one thing, on working with the people in front of him. He has the most powerful person in the world, Pharoh, and he has a chance to makarev him and all of his people. What will happen with the Jewish nation? And if they don't see more miracles and more makot and more plagues, what will be with their spiritual level? It's a good question. But right now, in front of me, Moshe is thinking, I have a golden opportunity to be makarev this human being and the whole country, and that can affect all of civilization. How will that affect the Jewish nation? Hashem will worry about that. But I have this in front of me right now. And according to Rav Henoch Leibowitz, it was really the greatness of Moshe Rabbeinu that he would focus in on the chesed that he had an opportunity to do. And right now there's the other picture that Hashem will worry about. So that's Rav Henoch's Chidush, that Moshe right now is focusing in on the micro, so to speak, the situation right in front of him, and the macro, the idea of how this is going to affect the Jewish nation, that we'll have to deal with later, and Hashem will take care of that. So here's an example where Moshe focusing on the situation right in front of him. We had a chesed opportunity, and the macro, the bigger picture, he held off with at that moment. In the next couple of shiurim, I'd like to analyze this point and see other examples where there's sometimes a conflict between the macro and the micro, and how a Jew should try to learn how to operate in each situation. Shalom.